Hello and welcome back. It's been a while since we've actually worked on the Supra, and today we're going to be diving back in and doing something that has probably been one of the most requested thing that I've had to do to my car since I've put the wing on, and that is to get the rear bumper back on. Sorry I can't get a full view, I'm kind of cramped up right along the edge, but we're going to try to get the rear bumper and fit it over these wing stands and get it on. So that's the plan for the day. So I realized when I had set it down last time, I kind of may have left it a little bit on its side. So this is supposed to be pointed forwards like that. So that'll be a little work. Let's see how well it fits, or well it starts to line up, so we can start seeing where we need to cut. So I kind of got it on there as best I could. Things I was lining up are these screws that are going through. They have holes through here. Oh, so there's a screw right there, and there's its hole. So I was trying to line those up, and since it's a bit difficult, I think we're going to go ahead and use those holes as the guides to where we need to cut. So looking initially at things we're going to need to trim, possibly down here to work around the mount that we have, because this mount actually clips right into there. So we're gonna have to cut out a little gap here. Will we? Or can we use that? Actually, I think we can use this hole, oops, to poke right through here, because this is where the bottom should be, because there's usually normally a nut with a bracket that goes to here as well. So this one, hole right there, goes to here. That bracket goes to here. I think we can use that hole, so if we can, that'd be fantastic. Ow, I bumped my head. What else can we do? So, this going right through here, the thing I'm not so sure about is if it'll fit, if it'll fit over the top of that. I think it will, but if not, then it won't. What else? So, getting over this, I'm not too worried about, because there used to be a foam dash bar that would sit on the back, another impact absorbent piece that would protect it, so it should get over that just fine. And seeing as this extends about that far there, putting that to the end, yeah, that gives us an inch or so of room. And anyway, so lining up next is obviously we're gonna have to cut a slit. This is probably, so seeing as how the holes are here and it goes all the way back to here, I'm guessing we'll just have to cut, or what I'm hoping is that we're going to get away with cutting just a notch to right about there. If I do some measuring, it looks like I'm going to have to drop it just about an inch. So I'm going to just cut a straight line back at first and see how that works, and then move forward. Other things is we may have to trim the bottom of this off. Same with the other side to fit through here, because this gap right here is where the tow hook pokes through, and if this starts to come through far enough, then we'll have to, but that'll be one of the last things we do. And then on this side, same deal, where we could use this to go through this hole. So that's a lot of talking for now. I'm gonna go inside, grab myself a cup of coffee, and then a tape measure and a Sharpie, and we're gonna go ahead and start marking things up to cut. So I will be back. So I was marking out the two lines we're gonna have to cut, the one here and then the other one right there. And what I realized when looking at it is, I actually think it's pretty cool. I'm gonna have to cut a lot more though, is the fact that the diffuser actually sits pretty high up into the car. Which, as I said, I think it's pretty awesome, because it's gonna make it look like it's just part of the bumper. And I love the back end. The back end is my favorite part of the whole car right now. But I think it did look a little square, and so this will round it out. With the bumper going in, I think it'll actually make it look super clean. So what I'm talking about, I think you guys are kind of getting the picture, but here's the bottom of the brace, or the bar right back here, and the diffuser actually starts right beneath here, but there's a little lip. You can kind of see it. So these rivets right here, or I don't know what they're called. I don't know if they're rivets. Anyway, these pinch welds, I think that's the word for it. These pinch welds right here are lower than the top lip of this diffuser. And the way it was before is that these would slide in, and there's these holes right up here that you put a bracket up there that would go up and into this. Or I can't remember exactly how it's done. There's another bracket that goes on top, and then that sandwiches it in, holds it in. Anyway, we're gonna have to trim around this whole bottom part, but I wanna try to cut these first and get this closer, and then see what we have to do. So those slits we cut, those are a success. On to the next part, which is what we predicted. So haven't tested those are probably gonna line up, but don't wanna force it. It's, yeah, this bottom diffuser is hitting. So it comes up here, comes up to about there, and goes over. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna take a bit of measurements first. What I wanna see is about how far away this bottom peg is to this hole. So what that will tell me is since the top, well, I'm gonna measure the top too. But I'll take the top and take the bottom, and I'll take the difference in between them. So say this is, I know it's an exaggeration, say this is 1 inch away, this is 3 inches away, that's a 2 inch difference. So what I'm gonna do then is come up underneath here and then cut 2 inches back on here. So first off, I'm just gonna start by trimming this out and then seeing where we need to go from there. So I'm gonna go ahead and mark that up and we'll get to it. So we're getting closer. As you can see, it's starting to line up fairly well. Don't mind the edges here. We're still kind of focused in the middle. But what we kind of run into is, so this, let me just back up a little bit. So this fits pretty well. Again, don't mind how this is a bigger gap than over there. That'll all get sorted out when this gets bolted up. But the next section, or the next step, is that we are going to have to cut a little more down the back here. So this is a limiting factor. This is pushed up as far forward as it can. And there's still about a good 1.5 inches that it needs to go forward in order to mount up fully. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a little peek back here, and if we see, look at that, you can kind of tell. So right in there, see where it kind of, that curve is? So that's the back of this sticking out, and that's our limiting factor. So what I think we could do is if we cut just about 1 inch down on the back here, so rotate around and knock stuff off. But if I cut just about 1 inch down, then we should be able to get away with fitting the rest of it on without having, I aimed up, fitting the rest of it on without having to make a slit all the way down, which is ideal. Obviously you want to cut as little as you can. So as you can see, the middle part's lining up pretty well. I'm liking the way that that is looking. Pretty much lines up. The center's good. I don't know if you guys remember, they had those plates where I mounted the chassis mount on the left-hand side and the right-hand side on the outside that kind of stuck down a bit. I said we may have to cut those. Well, I think I'm just going to go ahead and cut the bumper instead underneath, because it's just easier to cut through the fiberglass, and since no one's going to see it, it's not going to make a difference, and it'll just end up making more room. So I'm going to go ahead and learn how to point a camera at the car and what I'm talking about. So I'm going to go ahead and take the bumper off for the millionth time, cut it, trim it, pop it back on, see if we're close enough, because these screws are super close to getting in. So now if we can get that lined up and that side lined up, we'll be able to undo the splitter on that side and the other side, or the diffuser, and then bolt that through, and we should be all good to go. So let's go ahead and yank it off again and do some more cutting. So another update, we're getting closer. So it's starting to fit better. The thing I'm getting concerned about is now, so this is pretty much like a centimeter away. If not, it could just take a little encouragement to get in. But that's hitting right there, and we're pretty much out of room here. Because right now, this little strip right here, that's all that's connecting these two sides together. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to actually unbolt this now for realsies and see where that lines up. Same for this side, so I can get an idea of how much I need to do. Because I think it's getting pretty close. It is getting pretty close, but I'm thinking, because I don't want to cut that anymore if I don't have to, obviously. And I think I may be able to get away with it, but I won't know until I can get these sides on correctly. So I'm going to do that. I'm also going to stop and take a little break to see if I can find all the bolts that go to the trunk or go to this rear bumper, so I can get that sorted out. So I'll set you guys down and we'll get rolling. Update number 378. Side things. Line up, that's good to go. Those just need to be pushed in and bolted in. Same for the other side. That one just has this weird flex where I should have gotten some flex tape to fix it or something. But here's the issue we're running into. Pun not intended, but now that I say it, that's pretty cool. Is the fact that this right there is running into this. You see this tiny piece? This is that leads up. This is this bracket that goes all the way straight down to here. So what do we do? Good thing you asked, because I'm going to answer it. So we're just a little bit further out here than we want to, obviously, which is because of this. So we're going to cut a little slit right in here. That'll hopefully line it up. Do the same on this side. Good to go. I could just straight cut a big huge line all the way down, but the thing I'm trying to avoid is trying to cut this into 3 separate pieces and have it be a 3-piece bumper, because this right here only has this screw to go in, and I really would like it to have more than just one screw holding in. If not, I'll run it and see what happens and then lose the bumper mid-driving, but I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to cut a little slit there, see how much we can get away with before we have to make some big changes. So whoop-de-doo, let's get to it. So we got the bumper on. It's bolted on the sides, or actually just once. Blah blah blah. It's mounted on the one diffuser mount, or one on each side. I couldn't find the bolts for in here right away. They're probably stored away somewhere safe that I wouldn't forget, but I forgot. I took the wing off just so it's easier to work with lifting these up. That'll go back on. These sides still need to tuck in. The screws are through the holes, they just need to be tightened up. And then, yeah, just working on getting those ends sorted out. So I'm liking the way that this is looking. It's looking like I'm liking it, which is lovely. From here, I think I just need to find those mounts, or I may even just leave it as is and then go ahead and take it off again so I can wrap it. But that's kind of the idea for now. So, hey, project well done. Alright, so I hope this is pointed at my face, because when I flip the screen around it just turns white on me. So I'm kind of hoping for the best right now. But since we finished up the rear bumper and got it all sorted out, the plan what I'm going to do next is I'm going to spend the rest of the day working on my Iron Man suit and getting that finished up, which will still take a while, but just doing the next part, so moving on to the legs there. If you haven't been watching that, I'd give it a quick look. The videos are all pretty short because they're mostly just time-lapse, and then we'll do a little more in-depth once the suits need some more expertise. But anyway, that's where we're at today. Kind of just been a good day. First day on break, so I'm enjoying it. So I'm gonna just go ahead now and work on the suit, which is gonna be another video. So thank you guys for watching. Sorry, this was probably a bit short, but go ahead and do the usual, just like and subscribe, leave your hidden comments, guys. Bye.